A long-awaited deal suddenly signed ahead of schedule. The US and Iran released the terms of their Memorandum of Understanding. 60 days of talks for a final deal will follow. Is it finally over? Here's everything you need to know about the past 24 hours.
This was not easy, I can tell you.
The 14-point Memorandum of Understanding between the US and Iran to end the war is now in effect. It was expected to be signed on Friday, but was brought forward and signed by US President Donald Trump at a dinner with French President Emmanuel Macron at the Palace of Versailles, while the Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian signed it remotely. The text outlines the immediate steps that will take place. Stage 1 ends the war on all fronts, reopens the Strait of Hormuz, and lifts the US blockade on Iranian ports. Iran will then receive economic relief. Talks on a final deal will then begin, to lift all Iranian sanctions in return for limits on its nuclear program. But not everyone's happy with the terms of the MOU, particularly Article 1, which ends the war on all fronts including Lebanon, and reaffirms Lebanon's territorial and sovereign integrity. Israel is refusing to withdraw from areas it is occupying and says it will maintain freedom to attack Hezbollah, which seems to pose a risk to the entire agreement. Article 5 of the MOU concerns the Strait of Hormuz, and Iran is agreeing to ensure the safe passage of ships for 60 days without tolls. Iran will then hold talks with regional countries to, quote, define the future administration of the Strait. The permanent free flow of traffic is not mentioned. On the nuclear issue, Article 8 reaffirms Iran's commitment to never developing a nuclear weapon, which was Iran's stated position before the war. Iran has also agreed to dilute its stockpile of enriched uranium. But to what extent will be worked out later, as well further limits on Iran's nuclear program. And finally, on economic relief, the MOU commits the US to releasing Iran's frozen funds during the negotiation period. It also requires the US to immediately waive sanctions on Iran's oil exports. A final deal will allow Iran to access to a $300 billion investment fund. The grand bargain will be the lifting of all US sanctions against Iran in exchange for limits on Iran's nuclear program. That kind of deal had already been agreed in 2015, but Trump walked away from it in 2018. We now have at least 60 days to see if Trump can improve on those terms. That's all from me. Stay with us at Al Jazeera for all your developments.